I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia. Hello.
And I'm the podfather of gaming, Stephen Bonacore.
Welcome to Board Game Breakfast, a weekly show where we talk about board games and the people who play them. And we have a couple of announcements here that we want to mention before we get started the show. First of all, in 1 week from today, the Dice Tower Pledge Manager is going to be open. So if you backed us on Kickstarter, we're going to have the Pledge Manager on GameFound open for those. And if you missed our Kickstarter, you'll have a chance to jump in there too if you want to support us this year. We'll talk more about it and push it more, obviously, next Thursday, but just giving you a week's heads up. And then also farther in the future, this year, we talked about it last year, the World Series of Board Games in Las Vegas. The Dice Tower is sponsoring the Open Gaming Hall there. So I'll be there. So if you're going to be at that convention and you still can sign up to play in the tournaments there, I'll be there, and I'll be actually doing some of the color commentary, I think, on some of the games and such. So that's going to be fun, and we'll give more information as time goes by on that, but I'm looking forward to this. This will be the second time this year I've been to Vegas, so that'll be a lot of fun.
You do know who is the very special guest of honor at the World Series of Board Gaming, don't you, Mr. Vassell?
No, I wouldn't call myself that. I'm just a guest, and I appreciate that you said that. So
you
that's
could be
all our announcements. Let's go to our first
No,
contributors.
It's me. It's me.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, we are Ryan and Bethany.
From Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
All right, today we're going to talk about the G.I. Joe deck building game. As a kid, loved playing with G.I. Joe action figures, watched the show a little bit, and I was really excited to play this to see if I get those nostalgic feels. And guess what? It brought the thunder. It brought those nostalgic feelings. In this game, it is a cooperative deck building game. We are working together, building up our decks, making them stronger and stronger. We have to take these various vehicles on missions, trying to take down these bad guys that get increasingly worse and worse and worse as the story progresses. There's kind of a story mode to it. There's 2 different whole missions, and even within that, there's a lot of variability as well. Complications get thrown in the mix, as always they do when you're on missions, right, in life.
Like just the mission to the grocery store, there's complications that happen.
Right? All right, so overall, really interesting deck building game with a G.I. Joe theme behind it.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed it, and I didn't care about the theme at all. I, forgot G.I. Joe was a thing. It wasn't part of my life growing up, so I didn't really care about it. I think we might have seen the new movies that came out. Maybe. I don't remember. But with that said, I actually really enjoyed it. The only main issue I had is all the times we played, we almost went through the entire player deck. And so I kind of worry about the variability on that end. The mission, there's tons of variability that could happen. But I imagine, because Ryan pointed this out when we were playing, there's lots of space in the box. So I feel like there will be expansions to come that will help that variability.
The rulebook for this game was atrocious, unfortunately. There was a ton of gaps, things that they didn't even tell you how to set up the game. Things with incorrect pictures matching the text that they showed. A lot of gaps there, which made for a frustrating first time out. But once you got it going, it was a lot smoother. You just might have to go to BGG and reference a couple of rules to get that ironed out.
I can't even complain. Ryan has to do all that hard work for us, so thank you for doing all that hard work
My
for
pleasure.
us. Well, if you want to hear more from us, don't forget to find us on Facebook or YouTube. We are Ryan and Bethany of Board Game Reviews. Everybody, this is Ryan and Bethany, hoping you have a happy, healthy breakfast. Bye guys.
Hi, I'm Jeff with Tabletop Toolbox, and as you can probably tell from my voice and my general disheveled appearance, I have not felt that great for the past few days. I'm a little on the mend though, so I did drag my butt out of bed because I want to talk to you for just a few minutes about Tabletop Simulator. Now, I know that Tabletop Simulator has its critics, and I can prove it. Watch. Hey, Mike Delisio.
Hey, what's up?
Want to meet up for a game tonight on Tabletop Simulator?
Sure, we could do that, or I could also take a 4-inch nail and drive it into my skull.
Graphic. But okay, I get it. There's no way that one of these is ever going to replicate that tactile, physical experience of playing an immersive game with some of your friends. But what if I showed you some of the things that you could do? Like that you could shuffle a giant deck of cards with a single keystroke. Or that most games on TTS load up ready to play, and others even have scripting allowing for specific setup by player count nearly instantaneous. Not enough for you? Okay. What if you could leave little notes for your friends on their player board? What if you could roll a giant die across the table just because? Or after all else fails, what if you could just flip the table with the added benefit of turning your friends' older GPUs into a fiery inferno of death? And that's fun for the whole family. But let me ask you a more serious question. Do you like Kickstarters? What if I told you that just a few weeks ago I played the upcoming title Starship Interstellar while the campaign was still active on Kickstarter? And you know what? It was pretty good. And last night I got to play the brand new Tidal Blades 2 with an also new online friend I met from Quebec. And that was also quite good. And what's this right here? Last Light by Roy Kennedy.
I know him.
The truth is, a lot of publishers have turned to platforms like Tabletop Simulator because of how easy it is to prototype new ideas and share those ideas with folks all over the globe for things like playtesting, demoing, and much more. So, you know, Mike, sometimes us old dogs just gotta learn some new tricks, right? So hey, if you're ever interested in trying out some pre-release or prototype games online, hit me up. I might just be interested in joining you. And carpentry by Mike, not required. Cheers.
All right, welcome to our weekly game show, folks. You can play along at home and keep track of your own score. Today's game show is called Who's the Oldest? And so in this, I'm going to give 6 answers, and you're trying to pick the oldest one of those answers. This is the most straightforward game I've played in a long time. So if you get the oldest answer, you'll get 10 points. Second oldest, 8, then 6, then 5, then 4, then 0. So the only one that's bad is to pick the newest one. Okay. You'll get at least 4 points otherwise. So I'm going to have a category. I'll give you each of the different things, and then you will pick which one you think is the oldest in this category.
All right.
Double check something here. Yep. All right. Are you ready?
Ready.
The only difference is you each have to pick a different one. So since Mr. Boddicker won last time we played a game, I think.
No, you won.
No, that was you and me.
Okay.
Yeah, when you played against me last time, you wiped the floor with me. I remember that distinctly.
Oh,
I don't normally remember my losses, but it was.
I didn't want to brag about it, but okay.
So Z goes first. So we have 9 questions. Here's number 1. So we're going to talk about inventions first.
Done.
So which of these is the
cotton gin? That's my guess. Okay, go ahead.
No, actually, these are more modern than that. So here we go. First of all, we have GPS, and this is for citizens because the military had it long before this. We're talking about when it came out for citizens. Commercial, yes. Then the laptop computer, the cell phone, the World Wide Web, Bluetooth, or the DVD. Which one of these is oldest? GPS for civilians, laptop computer, cell phone, the World Wide Web, Bluetooth, or DVD?
Got it. I'm going to go with cell phones.
Oh, you
All right.
You are right, I think, on that. But yeah, that was in the 70s. The World Wide Web followed fairly close after that. So we'll go with the World Wide Web.
All right. So the newest of these, what do you think's the newest one?
The newest on here will be commercial
Bluetooth?
GPS.
I'm gonna
Or
guess
Bluetooth.
Bluetooth.
The newest is actually DVD, 95.
Wow.
Bluetooth is 94.
Okay.
All right. World Wide Web is 1989, giving 5 points to Mr. Bonacor. The cell phone came out in 1984, giving 6 points to Z.
Oh.
The laptop computer, the first one of those, was 1982.
Oh, wow.
And
we did
GPS for
terrible.
civilians came out in 1978. That was the 10-point answer.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Well, I'm still winning, so I'm okay with that.
You are winning by a point. All right.
It's still winning, Tom.
That's fine. I was just clarifying it.
Don't diminish
The score is
my victory.
5 points for Mr. Bonacor, 6 points for Z.
I was
6
robbed.
is more than 5, right? That's
Yes,
still
I'm
true.
clarifying for our scorekeeper. All right. Let's talk about some games now. These are games designed by Steve Jackson. We all know Steve Jackson, very
The Cotton
famous.
Gin.
Okay. Which of these games was the first, the oldest one designed? We have GURPS, which is the generic, what's that stand for? Generic something role-playing system.
Universal role.
Yeah, generic universal role-playing system. Very famous. It was a system built, and you could stick all kinds of scenarios in it.
When was
Munchkin.
it invented?
Can't tell you.
Munchkin.
Munchkin.
Ogre, which is the big giant tank versus a bunch of small ones. Wizard, a little small war game. Car Wars, or Illuminati. So most of these are pretty well known. I guess Wizard's the least well known of these, but we have GURPS, Munchkin, Ogre, Wizard, Car Wars, or Illuminati. Mr. Bonacor, you get to pick first.
Ooh. Wow. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with GURPS, man. That thing is ancient. I think.
Okay.
They're all old.
I'm gonna go with Car Wars.
It's a good choice. Good choice.
All righty. What do you think's the newest on the list?
Munchkin.
Yeah.
That's correct, actually. Munchkin
would've
came out
said.
in 2001. It's still 21 years old, but it is the newest on this list. The second newest on this list is GURPS, 1986, giving 4 points to Mr. Bonacor, who now has 9.
Oh.
The third newest is Illuminati in 1983.
Uh-oh.
Then 1981, Car Wars, 6 points for Z, bringing him up to 12.
Not happy.
And then that little wizard game, 1978, and the oldest is Ogre, originally released in a Ziploc bag or in a magazine. I don't remember exactly. 1977.
Wow. Okay.
All right. This is starting to get irksome. Irksome.
Well, you're only 3 points behind.
I don't like
here
to
we go.
lose. To
Let's
Z.
go back to history here. Which of these, we're talking about when different U.S. states joined the Union. So when did these
this
states
is
join the
not
Union?
fair. No,
I was right
no,
there when it happened.
No, okay.
All right.
Bonacor was there, and I'm not from here. I'm not used to your strange customs.
All right.
The next category is beer, don't worry.
States. Here are the 6 states I chose. We have Utah, Nevada, California, West Virginia, Oklahoma, and Montana.
Okay, say them again.
Notice I didn't pick any of the original 13 colonies or Alaska and Hawaii because that's too easy. So we have Utah, Nevada, California, West Virginia, Oklahoma, Montana.
Oh.
I know some people are saying not fair because they don't live in America. Americans don't know this stuff either, so don't worry. You have a reasonable chance.
Here's my guess. Watch this.
So you want to know which one's the oldest that became a state? Like which one's been the state for the longest time?
That's correct.
State for the longest time. Okay.
And Z, you're going to be first on this one.
Not that. It's not that.
Not that. It's not that. Really?
Well, I know where some of these are. They're on the wrong side of the world, you know? I guess I got to go with I'm gonna go with Oklahoma.
All
Yeah.
right.
Maybe.
See, there's a trap in this, and I'm not sure I'm going to fall for this trap or I'm going to be right with my logic. And West Virginia should be the oldest because it's, well, east of the Mississippi and East Coast almost. But I'm going to... What? No, I didn't pick it. That's the trap. It's a trap.
He's saying California.
It's a
He's
trap.
definitely saying California.
Trust me, California became a state before some of these things. So... just because of you, I'm going to say California.
That's not the song. California, where the wind goes.
Comes up and down the plains.
All right. So the newest state here that joined in 1907 is Oklahoma, giving Z 0 points.
Nice. There we go.
The second newest state in 1896 is Utah.
Oh, come
Then
on.
in 1889, Montana.
Oh.
Then in 1864, Nevada.
There we go, baby.
1863, West Virginia. And the number one
kidding me?
answer, 1850, California. Our scores are now 19 for Mr. Bonacor and 12 for Z.
Give it up. Give it up for the historian. Give it up.
This is not
right.
fair. My man was at the ceremony. He had the big scissors.
I gave the speech.
Okay.
I gave the speech.
Jumping back to games. Now let's talk about designer Sid Sackson. I just recently, if you've seen on the internet, a video came out from the BBC like the 80s where they were interviewing Sid Sackson. It's really interesting. It's like 13 minutes long, but you should watch it. They interview Sid Sackson, and then Gary Gygax is sitting there smoking a cigarette talking about role-playing games. It's a fascinating interview.
Where can you see it?
On Reddit, there was a link to it. It's on YouTube, but it's like a BBC interview with Sid Sackson. Just
That
briefly.
sounds cool.
It's
That sounds
fascinating because they show Sid Sackson's house, and they're like, "Do you buy every new game that comes out?" He's like, "Oh, yes." And someone in the comments is like, "He would be dead if he was alive today." You know, you can't buy every game that comes out now.
He'd be destitute. Yes.
All right. So we're talking about his games now. Which of these is the oldest of his games? Are you ready?
Yes.
We have. Who's first on this one? Mr. Bonner.
Me.
Yeah, Steven.
All right. So we have Acquire, Can't Stop, A Gamut of Games. This is a book he wrote, full of games. I'm the Boss, Sleuth, and Buried Treasure, which is the precursor to the Restoration game that just came out, which was Buried Treasure, I think. But the original one from Sid Sackson, Buried Treasure. So we have Acquire, Can't Stop, A Gamut of Games, I'm the Boss, Sleuth, and Buried Treasure.
Yeah, this is really good. And I really think Sid was an amazing designer in that pantheon of early American designers. So, because some of these things are just classics. I'm going to go with, I'm going to be completely taking a guess here. I'm going to go with.
No, I think I got a pretty good number
Do
on
you?
most of these. Yeah.
Oh, you're better than me on this. I do not. I'm going to go with Can't Stop, and that's a bad guess.
And Z?
The only one I don't know anything about at all is Buried Treasure. The rest of them, I have an approximate year for the rest of them. I think the oldest is Acquire. It's Sleuth or Acquire. I'm gonna go with Acquire. Yeah.
Wow, if he designed that early in his career, that's amazing. Because that game you could play right now. In fact, I'll be playing it.
The newest here.
World Series of Board Gaming.
Well,
The newest is I'm the Boss.
That's correct. I was surprised by that. 1994. I'm the Boss.
I got that
Second
one correct.
newest is Buried Treasure, 1992. Then we have Can't Stop, 1980. So that's 5 points for Mr. Bonacor, bringing him to 24. Then we have Sleuth, which is 1971.
Oh, wow.
A Gamut of Games, 1969, and Acquire, 1964, giving Z 10 points, bringing him to 22. So it's now 24 to 22. It's a close one.
That's close.
How it's done.
That is amazing because I mean I don't know if you guys would agree. Acquire It's
Z
a
has
solid
22.
game.
Banagher has 24.
I'm up.
Yeah, it feels like it doesn't feel like an old game, is what you're saying. Yeah, no, I
right,
agree.
and people are still using. I mean, Foundations of Rome, which was my 11 game from last year, this year, whatever, is using that mechanic, the bidding mechanic, right? Or the not the bidding, but the field mechanic. Yeah, really cool.
All right, let's go to some actors here. I want you to tell me the oldest of these actors. They were all born in the same decade, within 10 years. So have fun. We have Bill Murray, star of Groundhog Day. Patrick Stewart, star of Star Trek. Harrison Ford, star of so many movies, we don't have time for that. Michael Douglas, star of American President. Sylvester Stallone, star of Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. Was that his movie? I don't remember.
Yeah, that was his.
And Samuel L. Jackson, star of Coming to America.
Yes, right.
For like a minute.
For like a hot second, he's in that movie.
So we're looking. Who's the oldest in this list?
Which of these is the oldest? We have Bill Murray, Patrick Stewart, Harrison Ford, Michael Douglas, Sylvester Stallone, and Samuel L. Jackson. And just the fact that we're saying how old they all are should make you feel old. And I'm talking to everyone.
Oh, thanks. Mostly me.
No, I wasn't talking to mostly you. I mean, the fact that when I found out how old these people were, I was like, huh.
You could put
because I grew
Stephen.
up with
I
these
thought you were
people.
going to put Stephen Bonnicore on this list because I'm, from the same decade as them.
I don't know your birth date.
You know my birth year. You do. Who goes first? I think it's Z, right?
I think
It
it's
is
me.
Z.
Okay. All I know is Bonnicore is so old. When you say the year he was born in, you're supposed to say in the year of our Lord before it. That's all I know. You like that one?
That was good. I almost snorted my coffee.
I think Michael Douglas. I'm gonna go with Michael Douglas.
Sugar. That was definitely my guess. So the funny thing is, yesterday, for whatever reason, I looked up how old Patrick Stewart was. We were talking about it here. So I was like, oh, how old is he? And he's 81 years old at this moment. And I thought Michael Douglas would definitely be older than Patrick Stewart.
I don't know.
So I'm going to have to go. Ooh, this is now getting close. I'm going to go. Ooh, Bill Murray? I think it's Bill Murray or Harrison Ford might be older than Patrick Stewart. I'm going to go Bill Murray.
All right.
Uh-oh.
Okay,
Uh-oh.
So we found out that Mr. Bonnicore was cheating, doing some research on this beforehand.
No! Yes,
man.
I knew about this question yesterday.
All right, the youngest of these was born in 1950, which is still pretty old here, 72, and that's Bill Murray. So that's 0 points for Mr. Bonnicore.
Oh,
Obviously, I was
Second
cheating.
youngest, 1948, Samuel Jackson. Then Sylvester Stallone, 1946. Michael Douglas is 44, giving Z 6 points, bringing him to 28. Harrison Ford, 1942. And the oldest, which you should have said, Patrick Stewart, 1940.
I'm going to
You
bet
had it on the tip of your tongue.
I had 6 answers on the tip of my tongue, but
I'm just saying. When you read that article, didn't it say Patrick Stewart, 81, and then in parentheses, older than Bill Murray, Ford, Douglas? It's it right there.
It said it in the article, but I didn't want to cheat that much. I only cheated a little bit. Will you stop?
Right.
Oh,
We got some more questions. Let's jump to the next one. Board games again. These are board games from Reiner Knizia. Which of these is his oldest design?
maybe I have a shot here. Maybe.
The classic Modern Art. The classic Tigris and Euphrates. The classic Through the Desert. The semi-classic Samurai. The modern classic Lost Cities. And did you play this? Africa. So we have Modern Art, Tigris and Euphrates, Through the Desert, Samurai, Lost Cities, and Africa.
Yeah, I mean,
All games designed by Reiner Knizia.
you picked at least 4 games that could. I mean, actually, it could be all of them because I don't really know Africa. I can't remember what that one's like. But all these could be there. I'll go with his. Some people would argue. I would argue against his greatest design. I'll go with Tigris and Euphrates. Euphrat and Tigris.
All right,
So.
Z.
Sweet. Modern art.
Oh,
You're saying modern art?
You
Yes.
sure? Like, sounds like you're
Yes.
very sure about this. You
I'm
suck.
pretty sure.
All right, the newest game is Africa 2001. Lost Cities is 99. Then there's a tie here. Through the Desert and Samurai both came out in 98.
Ooh.
So the second answer is 97. The first answer is 92.
Oh, my goodness.
97, Tigers and Euphrates. 1992, modern art. Bringing our scores to 32 for Mr. Bonacor and 38 for Z. You're still within striking distance. Anything can happen. Let's go back to actors. Here we go.
I thought beer was the next category. Okay.
Actors' age. Which of these actors is the oldest? I guess actress, but I think you can call them all actors. I'm not sure. We have Sandra Bullock, Halle Berry, Jennifer Grey, Demi Moore, Uma Thurman, and Jerry Ryan. She's from Star Trek, Jerry Ryan.
Yeah, no.
7 of 9.
No kidding.
I don't know who
By
it is.
the way, doing a great job. Doing a great job in the
Jennifer Grey, Dirty Dancing, and Ferris Bueller. Halle Berry, the star of Catwoman.
Who's the last one you said?
Jerry Ryan, 7 of 9 from Star Trek.
Okay.
What else has she been in, Jerry Ryan?
That's about it. I mean, of any real.
That's not about it. She was definitely in Boston Public as a teacher for a while, and she's in something now. I don't remember. She's in a popular TV show now.
She's in Picard now, and she's doing a great job. Really good. She's playing 7 of 9 in Picard on
Okay.
Paramount. Who goes first? I think it's me, right?
Sure.
I think you just went first.
You just
right?
went first because Z was glad you didn't pick modern art.
Right.
I sure was. I really don't know here. I'm gonna take a stab in the dark. I don't know the last one. I'm gonna say Demi Moore. I don't know.
All right, Demi Moore. What do you have, Mr. Bonagor?
Jennifer Grey.
Jennifer Grey. All right.
That was my backup answer there.
The newest actress, 1970, is Uma Thurman. Then we have 1968, Jerry Ryan. 1966, Halle Berry. 1964, Sandra Bullock. So you guys picked the top 2 answers, 1962 and 1960. Number 2 answer, Demi Moore, 62, and Jennifer Grey, 1960. So our scores are now, Mr. Bonacor has 42 and Z has 46. Guys, this is a close game.
Oh, we're playing another round? I have a shot?
We got 2 more rounds. Here we go.
2 more.
Games from Wolfgang Kramer. Wolfgang Kramer, here we go. Which of these is his oldest game?
Okay.
Hang on, I need to do something here real quick. Nope, I'm good. All right. We have 6 Nimmt, which has had many different names, but that's the one that's most well known as.
Yep.
Top Race, which is the game that was remade and became Downforce.
Oh.
El Grande, Heimlich & Co., which was also called Top Secret Spies. The Princes of Florence, where he was one of 3 designers, and Pueblo. So which of these is his oldest design? 6 Nimmt, Top Race, El Grande, Heimlich & Co., The Princess of Florence, and Pueblo.
Okay. Who's first?
Mr. Bonagor's first.
This is rough.
This one's a little harder. Yeah, this one's a little harder. I think I know it, but
Princess of Florence. Oh.
All right.
Love that.
Z?
Great game.
Heimlich and Co.
Yeah, that was my backup choice.
All right. The newest one, 2002, is Pueblo. The second newest one from 2000 is The Princess of Florence.
Oh.
The third newest one from 1984 is Heimlich and Co.
Oh.
Then,
No, that can't be right. El Grande's not
Wait a
that
minute.
old, Tom.
that's a lie. It's the oldest one. It's 10 points. Sorry, I said that out of order, Z.
Yeah, okay.
It's 6 NIMP. I'm sorry. It's top race is 96. El Grande 95. 6
Right.
NIMP 94. But Heimlich and Co. is 84.
Yeah.
So it's the oldest one.
That's why I thought it was the oldest. I knew El Grande in 95, and I knew Pueblo was, and I knew Florence and Pueblo were after that, because he was already like, ooh, the designer of El Grande. So I knew it was one of the other three. So
All right.
I believe I've been
Four,
put
right now the
mathematically out of
scores are
contention.
46 for Mr. Bonacor and 56 for Z. But Mr. Bonacor, if you get the oldest and Z
He
picks
gets
the youngest, it will be a tie game, and I'll give you the win for that being such a
In the
flop on
category-
Z's part.
you know what it should be here? I think we should let Bonacor pick his and mine.
Oh, that is magnanimous of you. However, that would be embarrassing for me. So I don't want to do that.
I think you shouldn't do that, Z, because he may win there. So hang
No,
on.
probably.
Let's
Unless it's
combine questions here. Let's talk about the oldest game designer. Here we go. There's only 5 this time, though. We
Really?
have Wolfgang Kramer, Rainer Knizia, Uwe Rosenberg, Stefan Feld, and Steve Jackson.
Oh,
I did not put Sid Saxon because that was too obvious.
So Kramer, Knizia, Feld. Who did you say?
Kramer, Knizia, Rosenberg, Feld, and Jackson. Which of these is the oldest? And Mr. Barker, we'll let you pick first since you're losing.
okay. I got it between. How come we only used 5 instead of 6? Couldn't come up with another older designer. I'm gonna go with Steve Jackson, my man, Steve Jackson.
All right.
You sure you don't want to pick for me? Okay.
If
Just
I
out of
pick
curiosity, if you were picking for Z, what would you pick?
Rosenberg, easily, definitely the youngest.
Go ahead,
Pretty-
Z.
It'd be close with Feld, I think. But
Yeah, it's one of those
Pretty
two
sure.
for sure.
I know
right?
them.
All right,
I
so
met them. I know their faces.
from the ones I've got left here, I think Wolfgang is a little older than Knizia, so actually maybe a little bit more than a little bit. So Kramer.
I think Kramer's number
All right.
2. Yeah, that was my second.
So I have 2 scores here. Z's score if Bonacor had accepted and otherwise. So the youngest here is actually a tie. It's Rosenberg and Stefan Feld were born in the same year, 1970.
Okay. Yeah, I had them at
So
the bottom.
if you had picked Z's answer, he would have got 56 points. I'm sorry. Yes, 56 is where he's at. Sorry. It says 46. Sorry.
46.
No,
I would
56.
stay at 46. Yeah, right?
He would have gotten 0 points, you're saying.
Let me rephrase the scores here because they're wrong on screen. Steven has 54 points. Z has 56.
Come on, Roy. Get it together.
Oh, no, that's not Roy's fault. I'm saying the
Oh.
number's wrong. Don't worry about it. But that is
Come
the
on,
score.
Tom. Get it together.
What's Stevens?
Right now, the score is 46 Steven and 56 Z.
Right.
Okay, there we go.
You said that.
Sorry.
You keep going back between 52 and 56. Anyway.
Anyhow,
If I would have
So-
picked his score, he
so
would
those
have
are
gotten
the 2
0.
youngest. Then the next youngest is Rainer Knizia in 57 he was born.
Right?
Then Steve Jackson in 53. And Wolfgang Kramer was born in 1942.
10 years older? Yeah, well, I've never met him. I've only seen pictures.
Fuck!
And they're probably earlier pictures, like recent.
All
or
the pictures
not
of him
recent.
show him with white hair. I mean, it's
He was. Yeah,
I don't know.
what do you mean?
Yeah, but I bet that they're not new
All right, our
pictures.
final scores. Mr. Bonacor has 54, and
that's
Z
good.
has 66.
No,
But even if you had
Oh,
let
yeah.
Mr.
Oh,
Bonacor pick for you, you would have still ended with 56.
there you go.
Yes, I know.
Good game.
It was a trick.
It was a trick. That was a good game.
All righty, let's keep going. We'll be back.
What is up? My name is Matthew McCack, and this is Smashing Buttons and Slamming Cards. This is a segment where I talk about a video game I love and I connect it to a board game I love. And this week, I want to talk about MLB 2K, the series. So I'm specifically talking about the PlayStation 2 days, where you would play MLB 2K, whatever edition that was out that year. I liked playing this game because there was a few things you could do. So you were able to kind of like manage your team a little bit, where you could like trade players and all that sort of stuff. So you were kind of a manager a little bit, but you were also a player, where you would actually play through the game and play as a player and try to get to the World Series and win it all. So I'm going to connect that to Baseball Highlights 2045. Ooh. This is a really cool game. This is a deck building type of game where you are constructing your team. So you start off with some sort of team, right? Like it could be Boston or New York or whatever it is. But this is with cyborgs and robots and human players as well. But I'm connecting this game to MLB 2K because you pretty much manage the team, right? You recruit different players. That's like where the deck building comes in. You place the cards into your deck. And then you actually play through the game and you try to beat your opponent in the World Series. It's a 2-player game, although it goes up to 4, but it's really a 2-player game. But anyway, I love this game. I love playing it with my brother, and we always have a good time. We used to have a good time playing MLB 2K. And that being said, if you'd like, you could check out mine and my brother's channel called Room 51. And that is all for this week, so I'll catch you next time.
Hey everybody, Z Garcia here. Today I'm doing another artist reveal for Paradox Initiative, and the artist I'm going with is Piero, one of my absolute favorite artists in board gaming today. Piero is a French artist who's been doing game artwork for more than 20 years and has illustrated some of my absolute favorite games as well. Games like Ghost Stories, Mr. Jack, Dice Town. It's just a great look to everything. So here we're looking at the planet that Piero has illustrated in the game, this Kreth planet. And we've got here the 3 cards that make up the past, the present, and the future. Again, you can put these together, and they make one large panoramic image as well. And in the past, you can see a couple of figures here in the front, and a particularly desolate planet. Just some stone spires here, very little vegetation. In fact, there's one single dead tree right there. So a planet that is seems to be thirsting for life or water, for energy. Then we've got in the present over here some vegetation, some growth, a tree there beginning to grow, and again a little water flow there, and the figures in the front admiring what they've done. And then, of course, this one has a very happy future, this planet, with these enormous trees in which, if you look closely, you can see, I believe, people live within that tree, perhaps. And then some figures, again, there in the front of the image and in the foreground. Really cool progression of the natural world in this planet. It seems like a very earthy planet, not very technologically advanced, but humble beginnings, and though proud at the end, still a very humble planet. Really neat, beautiful, and as you put them together again, you get that lovely panoramic image of the progression there. So there you go. That is my artist reveal, Piero, one of the many artists who is doing artwork for Paradox Initiative that you can check out on Kickstarter right now. We're going to have a link in the description box for that. And that's going to do it for me. Let's get back to breakfast.
The Empire's hunting Jedi survivors. Now, they know who you are.
Assalamu alaikum. Star Wars Outer Rim Unfinished Business expansion pack is still on its way, and if you're looking for some more content to keep your game moving, there is a fan-made expansion pack called Jedi Fallen Order available on BGG file section. This takes the inspiration from the video game, and you will get to control the video game's Cal Kestis character, who is a Jedi Padawan on the run after the Order 66 was executed. It has the video game's Stinger ship, the same crew of characters available as your crewmates, as well as bounties available as cards. You will also have the Sith Sisters available as the enemy encounters that you can face during this missions or this expansion pack. Instead of the tokens, there is a new mechanism called Jedi Echo, through which you can actually reveal these additional tokens when you go to a planet, and then it will be up to you to decide that do you want to encounter the base token or the new Echo token, because of course you are not expected to print the cardboard tokens using a fan expansion and have the same quality as well. So that was a mechanism they used so that you don't have to print the exact same kind of token, but it works. And in this way, this adds just more content, more cards for the game. And if you're looking for that, then get this fan expansion from the BGG file section. That's it for me. Happy gaming.
All right, let's take a look at the news for this week. So, in the I don't care about news section, but it is news. Exploding Kittens is being turned into an animated TV series on Netflix. Now, I don't have a problem with the Exploding Kittens game. It is what it is. I played Exploding Minions. It's a game, and a lot of people really like it. That's fine. I just have high. I don't think it's going to work, and I'll tell you why. Have you seen the Emoji Movie? Have you seen almost anything based on a video game? I think Sonic the Hedgehog is the one shining example turned into something. Maybe this will work, but it's also a board game. So what's the theme of this?
So it's based on wasn't this all based on a comic strip to begin with, or that was just
the comic strip is the oatmeal. It's just like a comic strip that puts out one-shot comics. Like they just, like annoying people you meet on an airplane and stuff. Okay. It's stuff like that. But this has a plot. God and the devil are sent to Earth to reside in the bodies of two house cats.
Okay, at least it made me laugh when I heard the plot.
They got these actors. You can see Lucy Liu here, and they got Abraham Lim and Ali Mackey, I think. I don't know how to pronounce that. Mm-hmm. The writer, he wrote shows like You're the Worst and The Muppets from 2015, which is definitively the worst Muppets show of all of them. That's the one where the Muppets were like in an office. They did like a documentary on the Muppets thing. It's terrible.
It's probably not going to be good. But again, I'm always at the positive side of these things. Like anytime you're talking about games in the public domain, that's great. By the way, the bigger news here is that Netflix just posted like its worst earnings ever, and they've lost $50 billion in market cap yesterday. Terrible.
So what you're saying is these two pieces of news are related? That's what you're saying?
I'm saying that this could change the world for Netflix and make it a good company again. It's not probably going to do that.
I love how he goes, I try to look at the positive side of things. On other news, Netflix is in
bad shape right now.
Do you have a lot of Netflix stock? All right.
Don't own it.
All right. Let's talk about games. Here we go. Luma Imports is bringing out Fairy Lights, or they're bringing this to America. Fairy Lights, this is from Sit Down. This is a press your luck thing where you're trying to complete sets of identical bulbs to score points. Had some pretty artwork on it. It looks like a very simple game.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if it's a speed game.
Oh.
Because it's Sit Down.
That would be great.
Sit down and play.
Nah, you nothing. No comment.
That's
Nope.
it. Sit down and play.
All right. I think it looks pretty. All right, Winter. This is a new area control board game. Although calling it a board game, looking at that picture, sure looks like a card game to me. But anyhow, there's a frozen lake, and you are pulling. Maybe there is a board. I don't know. I don't know what it is. This whole motif is attractive to me. The box and stuff. The cards look very, very abstract. I hope it's a good game, but the picture of the game itself there isn't doing anything for me.
I like the cover, like you said. I think it's a cool looking box. That's not a great looking prototype. And I'm going to go ahead and say that's the prototype because I really hope that that's not final. That does not look enticing. I don't know.
It kind of looks like you're going to be matching up the symbols on the cards, right?
I guess so.
Or putting them on. It does not look interesting.
Again, I like the Veer. I think the Veer puts out a lot of interesting stuff. Not always good stuff, but they're usually interesting things. This one does not look... I don't know anything, but it does not look good, and it does not look interesting. So we'll see.
All right. The next one, Regine, I think is how you would pronounce this. This is from their pocket line from De Veer, which we've just gotten several games from that line. And you're betting on other people's hands.
Okay.
So that's kind of interesting. You want to have the best combination of cards, but you can bet on other people's hands to see if they have a good hand of cards. That concept sounds really interesting, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This could be good. This has some promise. I like the artwork for sure. I think it's a cool looking game. Very cartoony. That one I want to try.
In a simple yet interesting cover, we have Texas Showdown. I don't hate that cover, actually. I like the bullet going through the cards. This is a trick-taking game. The cards are numbered through 0 to 74, but divided into 6 suits. I like that one. And it's based on another game.
The other game is Texas Showdown.
Yeah,
actually.
So I'll give a little color to this Texas Showdown. I played it this week at the Gathering. Texas Showdown is the older game, and Rio is bringing it back. They got the license to bring it back as...
No, the original game was called Strife. I'm sorry. Then it was Texas Showdown.
Right, but I think they're changing the name on the new one.
Now it's going to be called Seas of Strife.
There we go. They wanted to remove what looks like, if you look at this, could be considered a poker themed game, and it's absolutely not. It has nothing to do with poker. It has nothing really to do with Texas, or it's a trick-taking or an anti-trick-taking game. You don't want to take tricks. It's actually quite good, and it plays with high player counts really well. So I really enjoyed this game that I just played, the original version or this version.
Yeah, I agree that if I saw this in a store, I would immediately assume it was poker's themed / played like poker.
Right.
Just because it has the word Texas in it. Texas is just tied to poker, really.
Yeah, Texas with cards, you're going to think poker. It's good. It's a really good game, and I 100% will be buying whatever it's called, the new version, because I really enjoyed this
Seas of
game.
Strife. And the artwork's being done by Beth Sobel, so that's going to be kind of cool. I'm looking forward to that.
Yep.
Nice.
All right. In news that excited Mike DeLisio much, and I bet Z too, we have Before the Guests Arrive. This is from Sashi and Sashi. They made a game called In Front of the Elevators, Wind the Film, Let's Make a Bus Route. They have interesting titles, I guess, is the best way to put it.
Yes. And they have interesting artwork as well. It's all by the same artist, by the same designers as well, Sashi. They do interesting outside-the-box type of games. Some of these are great games. Coffee Roaster is a solo game that is very distinct and unique. Let's Make a Bus Route is one of my absolute favorite flip and write or roll and write style games. And then this sounds to me like a little bit of a spin on the In Front of the Elevators game, which is about playing cards, lining them up, trying to have your people towards the front of the line so they can get in the elevator. This one then adds another dimension. It looks like you now are not just lining up cards, but you're making a whole grid. And this could be good.
I'm always excited for a Sashi and Sashi game. He does very good games. I think I mentioned this in the past. Sashi and Sashi is one person, and that's when I met him. He talks about it like Sashi from the past, Sashi from the future. His evolution as a person. So good stuff he does.
So you wanted to just mention that
Vassal and Vassal.
There you go. I'll call you Vassal and Vassal from now on, sir.
Okay, that's weird.
All right, and news that will probably get a lot of people excited. Probably the most popular game Renegade did last year was The Search for Planet X, or I guess 2 years ago. This is the sequel for that called The Search for Lost Species. So it's very similar as far as I can tell. You're on an island looking for a hex tile with lost species. So it's another deduction style game. I'm really torn on this cover though, because I get what they're trying to do here. It just doesn't look, there's something about it that looks off and I can't put my finger on it.
Well, maybe the animal it doesn't look like a real animal, but then that might be the thing. Maybe that is a potential
No, I don't think that's species. What it is. It's the leaves. I don't know. What do you think, Z?
I don't mind it. I think maybe the fact that things that are closer to the would-be camera are out of focus, which is normal. That's what they would look like. Maybe that's throwing you off because it's painted and it doesn't quite look right to you, maybe. I don't know. I don't mind it. I think this is an okay cover. I don't like the title. I know that species, as far as I know, is also the plural of species, but
one species, 3 species. Yeah, it is.
So I don't like it. It sounds off. The search
How about
for
the search for
species.
Animal X?
So I played for the first time the Search for Planet X this week also, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was an extremely thematic game and like really kind of like makes you feel like you're really out there searching for Planet X in our solar system.
That I'm going to argue strongly on. I like the game a lot. I think it's very logical, but there's no like if there's always 2 meteorites, there's something else in between them. That's not thematic.
No. But that is the way that they, without going deeply.
I know what you're saying. If you see this rotating, there must be a gravitational pull. I get that.
It's a gravitational thing. That's why I thought. And I'm really into space science, so I really enjoyed that game. So I assume this is going to be similar, but I hope different enough to make it something you'd want to play as well. But I'm just giving the plug for the idea that game was really good, in my opinion, and thematic. I hope this game is going to be as good.
I agree that Planet X is fantastic. So I am looking forward to this. I do like the theme of Search for Planet X more right off the bat. I mean, this one seems more marketable. Right, and right now this is a very popular sort of theme and cover and all of that. But the other one stood out to me, and being such a great game, that helped. So we'll see. I'll play it for sure. Just based on the other design, I will definitely play this.
Yeah, I didn't know what actually Search for Planet X was about until I actually sat down. I thought it was going to be a science fiction game. I just didn't know. I had never played it. Just didn't hit my radar. So playing it was a science game. This one obviously also is a science game.
All right, we have from Mind Clash Games. They just delivered Perseverance, their latest big giant game, so why not announce a new one? And that's Septima. This is designer Robin Hegedus. Players are leaders of a coven of witches trying to become the successor to the High Witch Septima. And I'm going to stop reading these things because there's more words I can't pronounce. But you're doing a whole bunch of things to become the best witch from a hand of 9 action cards. They are saying that this is their most approachable game, which is like, I don't know, a really expensive car company go, this is our cheapest car. Great, but what does that mean? Mind Clash games are fun, many of them, but they are very huge, gigantic, tons of rules. So even their most approachable game could still be a bear of a game.
Yeah, I normally do avoid their games. They're outside my comfort zone. This one I might like if it really is a little simpler. And looking at that cover, looking at the very few components here they're showing, unless there is a lot of hidden content and depth here, this does look approachable. I would try this out. Maybe. I got to see the rest of it.
Got to see a little more. It looks good.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. In news that will infuriate elitist collectors, Days of Wonder is releasing Ticket to Ride Poland. This was released at Essen in 2019 as a very small. Days of Wonder kind of like did a little favor working with another company, making this a Polish map for Ticket to Ride. It's just a single map, and to be silly, they called it 6.5. So it was between Map Pack 6 and Map Pack 7. When we got a copy of it. We mentioned, people were like, don't worry about it. Not a big deal. It's just one map of Poland. However, it's now going to be available for everyone. I still think it's numbered 6.5.
I don't like it, Tom. This means that my copy now of Map Pack 6.5 is not as rare. And I have a real problem with everybody being able to play something.
Yeah.
Okay? That's not okay.
Yeah. You're an elitist. Yeah.
Yes.
I do hope that this is a cheaper version of this, because it is a single map. I kind of like these better when there's a map on both sides. It's a single map. It has 35 tickets, 20 country cards, and a rule booklet. It seems like it's a pretty short game. It says it can be played in 30 to 60 minutes. 30 minutes is pretty short for Ticket to Ride.
So
but
it's you play with the base game. You just right. There's no difference, right? It's
you need. Yeah, the difference here is.
So why would it be a shorter game? It looks as many routes and everything. Maybe
it looks a little smaller. You know, we got this 6.5 thing those years ago, and then we never played it. The main reason I meant to play it at some point, but I wasn't going to review it because I didn't want to review something that nobody could get. But now we can, so we'll play this and let y'all know.
There's fewer long routes. That's why I think it will play faster, right? I only see 1.5 route on the whole board, something like that.
You're right. That's true.
Isn't there 6 space routes in Ticket to Ride?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, that's why it's probably going to play faster. I mean, that's a guess. That's
all right.
Designer cap on.
All I know is they better print somewhere on that box. Second worst edition. All right, that's all I'm saying.
Second and worst. This is 6.25. Just to be serious, this is 6.25. That should be on that box. Poland 6.25.
From Next Move Games, all their games have to have 4 letters in their name, so the newest one is Maui. In this one, it looks like you're trying to get your best spot on the beach, which, by the way, is not the first time this theme has been done. I think this is the 3rd game I've seen about finding the best spot on a beach. But that being said, I do tend to like Next Move games. They're usually very simple and easy to play. Other examples, what were the other ones in the past? We have Reef.
Reef, Azul.
Yeah, Azul is probably the most famous of this line. I don't know.
Yes.
I mean, I'm interested in it because of Next Move games. Other than that, it looks okay.
This group of designers, with Sebastian Pauschen being the best known one, they are a little hit and miss for me. Like, this team put out Botanic, which was one of my very best games from, I don't know, a few months ago, last year maybe. It's a great 2-player game. And then they did The Way of the Bear, which I really didn't like. And Sebastian Pauschen is the guy behind Ispahan. He's the designer of Ispahan. So he's, like, when it works for me. And every now and then it really doesn't work. So we'll see about this one. I don't think that Maui here has any bits that are as sort of blinged out, at least from what I've seen, as the coral and reef or the cool tiles in Azul. It looks cardboardy, like there's more of that than some of their other designs. And that's a hook. I mean, having really cool plastic, Bakelite bits is a neat hook. So we'll see. Maybe those shells that you can see there just below the artwork, maybe those are plastic. Ooh, I don't know. We'll see.
Looks mostly cardboardy. I'm interested because I like Hawaii. So that's my interest in this.
Okay. There's beaches all over the world, too, though.
I like Hawaii a lot.
All right. Love Letter has some news. It's 10 years. It's the 10th anniversary. So ArcLight, the original publisher, is doing 3 new editions. So the first one is just a Love Letter Second Edition, which is it's the base game, but there's 16 new cards. Interested in that? Original artist. Then there is a big box coming out where they say it includes everything from all the different love letters. Now, I don't know what that means exactly. Like, for example, it would have a mechanism that's used in the Infinity Gauntlet and Batman, but I don't know if those IPs are in the box. I don't know. It's just a big box.
I'm gonna bet they won't be, and it'll just be a means of playing the Batman mechanic, which is, I think, the best one of the love letters. At least that's the best one I've played.
Yeah. Have you played the Infinity Gauntlet one?
I have not played Infinity Gauntlet, so
that one's the most different. I like that one very much.
Cool.
Yeah, it's supposed to be everything, all the variants, basically. So mechanically, it's all supposed to be in one box.
Yeah.
And then you can pick and choose whatever you want to play. It also, I think, this is also being crowdfunded, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, really? I think I think Love Letter's genius. Obviously, it created a genre of gaming, the micro game. So I'm like 100% all in on this kind of thing. And it's a micro game. Even if you put everything into it, how much is it going to cost? 50? I mean, really, it's not. It'll be a cheap buy-in on a crowdfunding platform, I would think. Where does it say crowdfunding? I didn't see it in the news here. Did you hear that somewhere?
I think I read that.
Okay.
Actually, it does say crowdfunding here. You're go to the next slide.
Oh. Okay.
Then the third one that's coming out. They're basically saying it's a story-driven game. They're not telling us much about it at all, but it sounds like it might have a campaign or a legacy. So basically, folks, this is what you do. Make a game. If it's popular, make a big box, and then make a legacy version. Money.
It's bank, baby.
Got it. 10 for 10. 10 for 10 big box. 10 legacy plus.
Now, this is actually...
Somewhere...
I gotta say, this is actually interesting to have like a legacy version of this game. I don't know how they'll do it exactly, but
it might not be that. We're just speculating.
I see that. So it doesn't say that they're gonna do it. Okay, I got you.
It's some sort of story-driven something. It might be a campaign. It might be legacy. It might just be you open a page and read like the princess is now upset. Shuffle in this card instead of the number one.
Yeah.
I mean,
Love letter legacy pretty easy. I love you. I get the letter. I'm like, nope. All right. Somewhere, Sam Healy is having a mind melt because Game One Games has announced Tiny Epic Vikings. 10 out of 10. Yes, so another smash hit. I'll make the prediction. Every single one of these does so well on Kickstarter from Scott Arms, and yeah, you can go read more about how this plays.
It's gonna do bank.
Z is excited about our next thing. Z, tell us about this because I don't know anything about it.
Stellarian is the new Omniverse game that was just announced, and this is from the same designer, obviously in the same line as Onirim, as all the other ones that no one really knows as well. Onirim being the big hit, the one that's got the app, the one that came out first, and many people have played. Some people, not including Tom Vassell, even by the right rules. So, Stellarian here.
Oh, my word.
Stellarian is the 6th entry, and they're talking about it being a deck management game where you have 8 decks of cards, and I guess you have to put together different combinations as you look up into the night sky in this dreamlike world and combine the cards you need. They've been doing dice for a little bit. The last 2 included dice. One was a roll and move, actually, with some twists on that, and one was a Yahtzee-esque solitaire game. Solo or 2. These are always for a solo player or for 2 players. So this one's back to just a card game. They haven't done one of those in a while. This designer hasn't. And then the other piece of news bundled in with this is that it's from not the same publisher as all the other ones are. They've all been Z-Man games. This is from a company called Impatience, which I believe might be the designer's company, or at least he's working closely with them. And I believe they might be reprinting the previous games in this same line. So not only are we going to get reprints of all the other ones, but a new entry in this series, which has been dormant for a while now. Very exciting. I do like these games a lot.
They get his kid to do the artwork. I'm just.
Oh.
Come on. I mean. Maybe they're going for obviously our childlike look, but the box.
I think they're going for a childlike innocence in the look. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just.
They're all from the same artist. I forget her name, but this is the art style for the whole thing, and I totally get that it's a love it or hate it look. Actually, I neither love it nor hate it. It doesn't really bother me, but But yes, I definitely know that it's divisive.
All right. In very divisive news, I think, yesterday there was a big 25th anniversary stream for Twilight Imperium from Fantasy Flight people who know how to put on the best live streams. Yeah, no, I'm sorry if you read that as a put down. I meant it as such.
You meant it as such.
Oh, they're the most boring live streams I've ever seen. And they're not the most boring, but they're pretty boring. Anyhow, they announced the Twilight Imperium roll and write called Twilight Inscription. And so as far as I can tell, because they didn't really talk a lot about it, they're being very vague. And this is like the best shot from their very glary picture. That each player is going to get 4 boards here. And it's like the biggest roll and write ever made. So that might be cool. I don't know. I'm trying to have an open mind to this. Like, it might be a cool big roll and write. I'm just trying to figure out who the Venn diagram is for here. Like, I don't think roll and write people were going, man, I wish there was a Twilight Imperium version of these games. And I don't think the Twilight Imperium people waiting for an announcement about a new version or a new expansion were like, roll and write, that's just what I wanted. I'm trying to figure this out. It's such a weird one.
I think, I'm in the Venn diagram for this. I'm a big fan of Twilight Imperium in general. I'm a big fan of roll and writes, but I don't necessarily think you need a perfect intersection of those things. If you're a Twilight Imperium fan, right, you kind of have to be that, I think, or at least, I like epic space games. If you're a fan of that, and then you're
actually saying the actual Venn diagram, but continue on.
And then you can't play that game all the time, of course, because who can put the 4, 5, 8-hour game on the table very often? You then can say, hey, let me play this epic but shorter game where I get the experience of going out into the galaxy, building my ships, building technology, beating up Tom Vassal's ships, things like that. So I'm all over this. I mean, will it be a great game? That, of course, remains to be seen. I'm all over the concept of doing a game like this. That's all.
You know what else remains to be seen? Whether it'll be a short game, which you're also assuming. We don't know how long this is going to be.
I'm assuming it's not, after I heard everything that Tom said and looking at the 4 different pieces that you're going to have in front of you, right? You're going to have 4 different boards, pieces of paper. I'm thinking it's going to be a long game, but not Twilight Imperium long, right? And I don't know. What's a long game to you and me, right? 2.5 hours. Okay, it's kind of a long 2.5 hours. I'm just saying
3 hours or plus is long to me.
Yeah, but when you go out and you sit down to play a game, you kind of put in your head, well, what kind of experience do you want? You want a short experience? You're going for that half-hour type game, or even less, or maybe a little more. But you're playing something that's going to take a while. 2 hours plus, a big Euro or something like that. When you're playing Twilight Imperium and that genre, you're talking epic level, crazy amount of time, right? 3, 4, 5 or more. I don't think it's going to be that, but it certainly, as you kind of said, it could be in that 2 hour, without a doubt. We have to see how this is going to play out.
Yeah, I don't know. I know they don't make short games. I cannot remember the last time they made a short game. Even when you think they might, because they're reworking something.
I'm looking at these boards now. It says warfare, industry, navigation, and expansion. So I don't even know how those things exactly play into.
Again, this might be the best roll and write. I'm just suspicious of roll and write games that are huge anyway. They don't. If they're that big, I'm usually like, then why is it not just a board game? That's my concern. So, well, hey, again, I am willing to be surprised instead. I don't know. But
Yep.
alrighty, well, that is it for the news. Let's keep moving.
Good morning, Board Game Breakfast. My name is Amanda, and I am here to talk to you about a game I'm really looking forward to playing when I can get it, and the game that I'm going to be playing in the meantime. This week, the game that I'm looking forward to is Ark Nova, which is an amazing game. I was lucky enough to get to play it a couple of times at Dice Tower West. And the game I'm going to be playing in the meantime is Terraforming Mars. And this is actually a little hard for me because I'm afraid that I'm going to have to say goodbye to this game that I have just loved so much over the years. And one of the things that's going to be hard to say goodbye to are some of the upgrades that I've done myself for the game, and what I've learned from it. So 3 of the things that have really improved this game for me and built my attachment to it are printing my own 3D tiles. I actually got a 3D printer because of this game, so it's a whole other hobby that I've started because of Terraforming Mars. Before there was a big box, there was just me and a cheap 3D printer and some paints, making my own tiles. And then actually one of the things I printed was a first player token that was also a drafting arrow that you passed throughout the game. And then I decided that I wanted that to be metal, and I learned how to cast in metal and made a mold and made my own first player token in metal, which is another neat thing that I really enjoy about the game and another craft that I learned. Thank you, Terraforming Mars. And then finally, I have some custom made cards for friends of mine that I play this game with a lot, and there's just nothing neater than getting the Eric card, the Robin card, the Sarah card when we're playing a game of Terraforming Mars. And even though they're horribly balanced and the art is terrible and the backs don't quite match the rest of the deck, it just fills me with joy and is something that I am going to miss if I do, in fact, replace Terraforming Mars in my life with Ark Nova. But for now, going to terraform the heck out of Mars, and I will talk to you next time. Have a great breakfast.
Hi everyone, it's Tarrant.
And Stellarian from Maple University.
Today we're going to play a quick round of Cuphead, the fast rolling dice game. This is based on the video game here. We're fighting against a potato.
Potato!
And we need to match these symbols and try to fight back.
Oh, that looks hard. Ready?
We're on 20 seconds, which is the easiest of the times. Alright, I need to jump and dodge any of the symbols.
Oh no!
That one. I want to shoot him. Uh-oh.
Oh no!
Gotta skip it. Okay, I'm safe. Alright.
I can't find that. Aww.
Alright, so that was simple. That's the round. So now we see whether we got hit and whether we did damage. First one, we need a jump and a move. I've got them. Okay, we're both safe. Second one, we need a move to stay safe.
I have a move, but I've got to shoot.
You got to shoot as well, so we do 1 damage. I've just got the feat. I couldn't roll the shoot.
It's okay.
And then the third one, we need a jump and a move.
Which I did not roll, so I lose 1 HP.
Lose 1 health. Oh. And then we would discard the cards and do it again. So, this game, it's very fast. It's very brutal, much like the video game. And you'll keep cycling through these cards until you can do enough hits to beat the enemy.
And that's Cuphead. And hopefully you enjoy that. See you next time.
All right, folks, thanks once again for joining us for another Board Game Breakfast. We'll see you back later today at 2 o'clock as we talk about our top 10 6-player games. Is there even can we even come up with 10?
Oh, come on.
Doubtful.
I love my bigger player count games. I'll give you 6 like that. Let me go look at my library.
Got it. All righty. Well, folks, thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next time. Until then, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia.
And I'm Stephen Bonacor.
Have fun gaming.